Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well. I've got a very special video for you today. We're going to be taking a look at the Atlas Master Metra Gallery commuter cars. I picked up both 3-packs, as you can see here, showing both ends. They include two 6000 series trailer cars and an 8500 series cab car in each set. Before we go ahead and get into the unboxing, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new. Like the video if you enjoy. Both are completely free and honestly just help me make $1 or $2 off the ads YouTube puts on this video anyway. So thank you in advance and let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to be taking a look at the set on the right here, which is just one of the two sets. And I'll go ahead and show you the box here. This is the rear. So Atlas has collaborated with Metra. It definitely took them a long time to release this. Here's the other end of this here, as these were supposed to deliver in the fall of 2023, and they're just now hitting shelves. Here's the side of the box for you. And same thing on the other side there. Let's go ahead and start the unboxing. One thing to note, it is a little tricky to remove one of these and then slide it back in the box with the other two. They tend to get stuck. So it's definitely best to slide all three in and out together, just so you don't damage the boxes if you're worried about that. But I'm going to go ahead and unbox the cab car here, as it's just a little bit more exciting than the trailer cars here. But of course, we'll compare them in just a moment. So I'll go ahead and get this guy open. I wasn't originally going to buy these. I was going to wait for the Rapido models and then see if Rapido ever offered these Nippon-Sharyo cars. But I saw them in person at Lombard Hobbies and I was just in love with them. In the box here we've got warranty information as well as the exploded parts diagram. So this will include the trailer car here, the 6000 series on one side for all three cars, and then the 8500 cab car on the other side. But after that, we've got pretty standard packaging here. Lift off the top. We've got some film. And then we can pull the car right out. I'm going to get a little bit closer here, and then we'll take a quick 360 of this cab car, just to show you. Of course, we'll go ahead and get into the details here. And something that made me fall in love is the lighting on this model. They got the green tint pretty much spot on the windows. So we'll take a look at that under track power. There you can see the cab end there. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of the details on this cab car. All right, zoomed in just a little bit. So starting off with the cab car here, we'll take a look at the interior details once we've got track power, because it's way easier to see inside the windows and take a look at those details. But across the side of the model, we do have the corrugated sides. We get the Metra logo right here, and we have the designation for the 8500 series. So if you look on the side of the car, the engineer will sit up here as the train is moving in the reverse direction towards Union Station. These cars never flip directions. And so since this is the cab car, we do have the bell mounted under here on this side as well. Moving just a little bit closer here so you can see, we do have a windshade and a horn up here with a little cage around it, grab irons on the end here as well. And if you notice, some of these windows seem to have a thicker black line around it. Those are actually the emergency exit windows. And they're designated like that because they can pop out in case of an emergency. I don't think they'll work on the model like that. I hope the windows don't pop out. But in the real thing, that's what's the reason behind that. So taking a look here at the cab end, we've got a lot of detail going on. We do have a metal coupler here in the bottom, the Sinclair antenna on the roof, and we have a very detailed light package. The lights here in the middle are the red lights for when the train is traveling away from us, away from Union Station, Chicago. And then the other lights, these three up here and the two at this level, will be white and will be on when the train is coming into Union Station. We do have a plow down here as well. We do have some small grab irons above the windows here as well. All right, let's move on to the other side of the car here. A little bit close, sorry about that. We do have a couple decals in the middle of the car here. On both sides, we have the handicap logo as well as the old Metra RTA logo there as well. On this car, since it's the cab car, we do have a speed recorder on this axle. We've got some battery boxes or electrical boxes here, as well as some other detail under the car here. I'll give you a zoom in here so you can take a look at those decals and just across the side of the model in general. Let's go ahead and finish off with the other end of this cab car here. This is very similar to all the trailing cars. We have the same vestibule detail, we just lack all of the lights and printing on here that we see on the cab end. Those red dots, which I forgot to talk about on the other side, are the covers for the MU hoses. There are no MU hoses included on these cars. On the other side here, we do see an uncoupling lever, and we do have two grab irons that are different sizes along the bottom there as well. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at the roof of the model. I'll just go ahead and zoom in for you. Again, corrugated along the top here. We do have some like exhaust fan detail, I'm pretty sure there on the end, or exhaust hatch here in the middle as well, and along the side there up top. There again is the Sinclair antenna and the horn. Pretty well done on top. Let's get this model on the side and take a look at the underside. We'll just flip this over here. As you can see, there's a lot of empty space, which on the Rapido model, I'm pretty sure, although it is the Bud gallery cars and not these Nippon-Sharyos, it will have better underbody detail. That metal piece you can see is the pickup for the lights on this model, and you can put a decoder in it, and I'm currently shopping for one, not sure what I'm going to put in to control the lights and then add sounds. You can see here some of those electrical boxes, air reservoirs here as well, and this is an interesting coupler. Since these cars have short couplers here, if I just move it like that, your coupler actually flexes like this with a spring in there. To keep those tight connections with the cars but still allow you to move around on curves. The minimum recommended radius is 22 inches for these cars. This is just a quick look at the underside of the cab end and at the trucks themselves. Speed recorder on that left axle. Let's go ahead and grab one of the trailer cars and do a quick comparison. Alright, so I've gone ahead and placed the cars on their sides just to give you the easiest method of comparing. So the big difference on the bottom here, we see that there is one less electrical cabinet or battery box here compared to the cab car on top. No speed recorder or bell on the right side here. And we do have a different emergency exit window placement. We have the exit here on the cab car and at the very end on the trailer car here. Once again, same arrangement on the other side here. We'll take a quick look at the reverse side of the model for you as well in just a second. So let's flip them over. All right, and moving into the other side of the cars here, noticing on the bottom, we have an additional electrical box here that's missing on the trailer, and we have an emergency exit window that's not present on the cab car that we do have on the trailer. And something I just noticed that I have a theory about, I think Atlas uses the same underbody detail because there's a little hole here where the bell is present on the cab car here. So I think it's the same underbody. And these pieces just clip in when needed there as well. So just a thought. Otherwise, still looking pretty good on the underside of both these cars. And then just a quick side-by-side here of the cab car versus the trailer. You'll notice all of the additional features here, and I think I forgot to mention that there is a snowplow on the bottom of the cab car. Besides that, the trailer here is exactly the same as the reverse side of the cab car. But let's go ahead and get these cars on the track and we'll start taking a look at the lighting and interior details. Alright, welcome over to the track here. As you can see, I've got the power on and we've got some phenomenal lights going on here. So these cars in real life do have this green tint and it does seem pretty accurate to the real life cars. As you can see, we have white lights in the center there where passengers will board and disembark, and we do have white lights in the engineer's spot as well. If I just go ahead and disconnect these cars real quick, you will see that we do have white lights in the vestibules between the cars here, per the prototype. Go ahead and just connect them up real quick. They are incredibly free-rolling, which is awesome. Always nervous with track-powered cars that the metal pickups prevent cars from rolling too much, having just a little bit too much friction in them, but these seem to be pretty good. And additionally, all the coupler heights were all good. All the wheels were engaged according to my track gauge, so good job, Atlas, on that. But of course, the important part, the interior. So I'll zoom you in here, and we'll take a look. We do have two separate light boards, one for the upper level and one for the lower level here. The upper level has single seats, and that little ladder looking thing is a luggage rack. They do have that modeled correctly. On the lower level, we have 2 seats per row and 2 on each side. You can see a screw visible in there for the trucks. But moving on here to the middle section here, you can see that gasket in between the doors, which is well done. And we don't really have much detail. We don't have an opening into the seating area over here. But that's okay. We do have steps that are a little hard to see, but you saw them molded in on the underside of the car. But just moving on to the other side here, there's that lower level and upper level once again. So you can see on this side, the upper level has seats that are forward and back facing. And then we have sideways bench style seats here as well, which are correct. And then a forward facing seat at the end. You can kind of see that luggage rack detail a little better here as well. And then just moving over to the trailer car here. Very similar situation, same interior up here. It's just a little longer on this side as we have an extra window width up top that the engineer area does not take away. There you can see how close the coupling is on a straight. We have a very small separation. And if I jump over here to a curve, a 22-inch curve, that is your separation there as well. So looking pretty good. The coupler's flex enough for 22 inches. That's just the view from above. And now jumping back over to the cab car here, let's take a look at the rear lighting. So currently I don't have a decoder installed in this car. So if I put this car on DCC power, all the lights will be on. As you can see right here, I am currently in the direction of travel towards the camera, so all of the white lights are on. You can see that we do have lights in the engineer's area up here. Give you a little peek into that. We do have a chair and stuff molded in. And there's that lighting on the end. But let me go ahead and switch our polarity on DC power. And now we have the red light. So the train would be heading away from us or out of Union Station. I'm currently trying to determine what decoder I want to put in these cars, and then I think I've seen some people working on a sound file which has the door opening sequence as well. So eventually I hope to pick that up and then install this on the cab cars. That will allow me to control the lights in DCC mode instead of just in DC. If I flip us back to forwards, these bottom ditch lights here should flash. So the program I'm trying to pick up will have that as well. The third light here, the single light, is really a gyro light in real life. So that should flash, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that happen. But that's okay. I think they look phenomenal anyways. But let's go ahead and give you a couple run-bys of these cars. I'll use a DC locomotive so we can see those directional lighting features. And while I'm thinking about it here, the decoder does mount right inside here. That's where that decoder will be placed. And apparently Atlas said there is space for a speaker as well, so you shouldn't have to make any modifications to the car itself to put a speaker in. All right, let's go ahead and start the run by here. I'm going to be using this Proto 2000 GP38-2. It's just DC here, so no worries. And I'll move the camera here so you can see the rear of the car as it passes by with those directional lights. There's one cab car. let you see. And we'll go ahead and throw it in reverse here and see the lights come in the other direction. All right, so just wanted to finish off here with some final thoughts. Hope you enjoyed that demonstration of the lighting features. When I do eventually get a DCC decoder installed and some sound, I might make another video on these just showing those off because I've seen some concepts and it looks awesome. Across all these cars, I've only had one defect or imperfection. There's a slight dent in the roof of this car right around here that you can only see in perfect light and at the right angle, so I'm not too worried about it. I just know it's there and that's all it's gonna get me. I'm not too worried about it though because all the other cars seem pretty good and I can't notice it in a train. Other than that, the printing looks sharp on the ends of these cars, which is very important. And across the sides of the cars, these Metra placards look great. They do stick out just a little bit, which is fine. But the detail, I know, is going to be compared to the Rapido models coming up. And I'm sure Rapido is going to look better with detail-wise and more separately applied details. But the important thing you have to remember is Rapido is doing a different style of these cars. They're an older style with smaller windows, and they are the Bud gallery versions, not these Nippon-Sharyos. I don't know if Rapido has plans to ever do these cars, but I might buy them in the future then and do a comparison between these two. But this is a model that I've been waiting for so long. The only other option we had for so long were wooden kits or really old RTA versions of the Metra cars by Walthers or Kato. So it's really nice to have the modern tooling design, which is all new here from Atlas, and the modern car style that you can see currently on the rails. Something I did forget to mention, the vestibule liners here, I guess you can call them here, are just slightly sprung. So around corners that helps a little bit. They're not fixed in place. They have just a little bit of give to them. And then just talking about price for a moment here, at $279 for what I paid for them at Fusion Scale Hobbies, that's about the price that I'm going to be paying for the Rapido models through Lombard Hobbies. I don't know what the Lombard price was because I missed it. I did check these out when I picked up the Burlington Northern BN3. I'll link that video. Currently my favorite locomotive. So I didn't get to pre-order these. I didn't want to pre-order them either because I really wanted to see them in person, and I'm glad I did because that definitely made my decision for me. The things I was worried about were the underbody detail, if there was enough. Just comparing to the Rapido again, I didn't want to pay for barely any underbody detail for this price point. And then the windows as well. The only videos I could find on YouTube beforehand were when the windows were still clear and they hadn't gotten that green tint down yet. Again, these models were supposed to release in 2023 and they've just been delivered now at almost the end of 2024. So they're a little bit late, but it's definitely worth it because they pretty much nailed it. So I'm very happy to have these cars. You'll see more of them when I definitely do a comparison between the Rapido models that are coming soon. I'll have the Rapido Metra engines to pull these. So I'm very excited for the future, especially for all of the Metra stuff that'll be coming soon. With that, I think that'll just about wrap up my review of these Atlas Master Nippon-Sharyo gallery commuter cars. Very excited to have these once again. Thank you so much for watching me just ramble about trains. I really love it, having a great time. Do me a favor and subscribe and like the video. Both are completely free. You can always change your mind, and they just support me and help me maybe make $1 or $2 off this channel one day. With that, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.